Hello everyone. Today I'm going to complete part 2 of the building of my test bench. I need this test bench in order to go on to complete my server because I do want to set up on the test bench before I move the parts into that very small case. Let me now talk about a few of the common fabrication steps that I followed in doing this project. Here I am cutting off the 1/2 inch square bar into the desired pieces to make the risers. First the small square ends. Here I'm measuring the part to cut off for the risers. Now I go back to the portable bandsaw and cut off these parts. I'm only showing one here for illustration purposes, but all 4 of them were done in the same way. Cuts very thoroughly through steel. Now I'm going to use the grinder to actually get them to be the exact same size. So I'm going to lock them into the C-clamp, and then I'm going to grind off the residual from the longer ones. This actually took a few steps more than I'm showing here because I had to do both sides. And I had to actually do it twice before I got them to the level that I wanted. This is when I was done. They looked all nice and straight and level. Now I'm going to weld the square ends to the actual main riser bars. There's my Lincoln Electric 180 again. A very good high-end MIG welder that's served me well. Let me make sure the gas is at 30, and then I'm going to do welds across them. I'm only showing one side here, but in reality I turned it over and did both sides the same way. Now I grind off the excess from the welding operation. This also took several passes till I got it smooth and clean the way I like it. So I'm only showing part of that here for illustration purposes. Now I have to drill the holes into the end of each of the risers. I'm putting in the 8-32 drill bit, and then I'm going to drill a single hole in each end of those risers. I mounted them inside of the drill press vise so that I get nice straight even drilled holes into those riser ends. That part of the metal fabrication is complete. This is what an example of one that came out in the end. Not bad. Got this time 8-32 holes drilled into it on both sides, and now I just have to tap it and make some other modifications that I have in mind. First off, I went ahead and took off the 4 screws that were connecting these 2 pieces together for now, because there's some work that I want to do on this. As you'll notice, I've marked off a larger square with rounded corners. I'm going to cut that out so we have a larger space for any coolers, whether they're all-in-one coolers or some sort of air cooler that's going to be connected to the bottom of the motherboards. This is where the cooler part under the processor would actually take place. So I wanted to make enough room for that. I'm also going to cut off these tabs. I've also marked off on these pieces where I'm going to cut it, and these are measured against these risers that I've created, and I've allowed for a fold over. You see the dashed line there. And then, which I'm going to mark off right now, I'm going to cut what I need from this piece of metal to account for the bottom of the test bench. So what I will do is I will mark off. So we'll do 7/8, which I just measured on the other side there. And from this end, put this back in here. Well, that counts as a ridge. I have to come back 3/8 to a 1/2 inch. Sorry, come back 1/2 inch from here. And it comes out to 1 3/8. 1 3/8. Draw that line while I'm at it. 3/8. That should account for this. And put that right on the edge, so that we'll have the built-in 1/2 inch. On this side here. Same deal. 1 3/8 started. Straight edge. Then I can finish it off. Approximately to there. And this one, go a 1/2 inch. Mark that one. A bit further. Looks like this one needs to be a little bit further too. Okay, I think that's finally it. In place and make sure that it makes sense. And it does. Get the 1/2 inch all the way around. Okay, so I think I have everything marked that I want to cut. Before I go in there, let me go ahead and tap these holes. Again, this was an 8-32. A little bit wider screw. That'll help me get a bit more meat on it. I wonder if I need a vise for this. It's kind of hard. That's going now. Now when I drill these holes in the drill press, that's where the drill press was really handy. Even though it's a little bit off, it'll adjust for that. Go in slow and come out slow. Okay, let me go cut the metal. So first I'll go ahead and cut the larger hole for the motherboard bracket if there's a large cooler installed with the jigsaw. And now I'll cut off the unneeded pieces of the drive bay sides. And now I will cut the actual piece for the bottom of the test bench. We now have all the parts cut to size and bends made as needed. 90-degree on these so it can stand vertically. I've cut out the opening on this one, although it's not very straight. I may have to put some gasket material around the edge of that. We'll see how that goes. The bottom part is not only cut to length, but I folded over the edges. Got a little distorted here, but that's okay. That's because of that handle was impressed in it. The next step will be to put these stilts on. Okay, I figured out how to mark these things accurately. I brought a red ink pad, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to mark the inside parts of each. So for this one, the inside is going to be here and here. I've numbered them. So that was number 1. I'll make this number 2. This will be number 3, and this will be number 4. As I take this I dipped the end with the screw holes on it, obviously, into the ink pad, put it right level right in the corner, take a mallet, wiggling it side to side and back to back. This one's actually really clear, you can see that one there. So after that's drilled, I will secure it with the appropriate screws and we'll be able to move to the next step. We'll do one step at a time. Okay, finally done with getting these things on. It was a bit of a struggle, but I got it together. The next thing I'd like to do is start laying out for the side panel. So I want to take this extra piece here and I want to put it over here on the side here. More than big enough, and it'll give a nice little compartment then for the power supply to go right over here. These will go, they'll have to go underneath here. In the position that best suits hard drive placement. It'll probably be something like this. Okay, and then we'll have the hard drive cages here. I can now install this thing back on the top. At this point, it's just drilling some more holes and tapping them. It'll be 6-32 over here and 6-32 onto these steel square risers for the side panel, and then we're just about done. I do have a couple of surprises for it, so I'll let you know in a minute. Then I measure to make sure that I have the proper place to cut out for the power supply once I put that side panel on. And I completed the pattern that I'm actually going to cut out. First I cut off the excess width to the side panel. Now I cut out the actual opening that's needed for the power supply. And this is what it looked like at the end of the work. Pretty good fit. Now I use a Dremel to go ahead and clean up all the sharp points, especially inside the area that I can't get to with the grinder, to get all the sharp edges off. Okay, for creating the supports, I took those two brackets that I cut out before, and I actually installed a couple of old optical drives inside of them so that I could place it properly. And I put it into its proper position inside of test bench, and then the drill bit for the drill and tap of 6-32. And I drilled right through both pieces of metal, the top layer all the way through the bracket. So it winds up with both parts threaded, but that's okay. That'll give it actually a little more strength. And I also went through both pieces of metal. I'm doing it in place. Drill, tap, and screw. That way the alignment will be proper. So, then I take one of my extra 6-32 screws and go right through both of them. This is a lesson learned when I tried doing the side bracket, the side panel that I created for the test bench. It's nice and tight. When I created the side panel, I can tell you right now, full disclosure, I had a lot of trouble with this. A lot of trouble. Aligning those screw holes, because I first drilled the screw holes in the panel that I had cut out, and then I tried drilling the screw holes in the pillars, the steel pillars, and it was not easy. I can tell you that right now. So I lesson learned on that one, but it's now fully secured. I am not going to take it off. I'm going to just leave it in place for now. Last hole has been drilled, and now just finished the tapping of it. Did have a couple of false starts here where I drilled a hole and it was off by just a fraction, so I had to drill another one nearby. This bent metal, things are just not exact, but it'll work nice and tight. And now I have my 2 brackets completely in place. I'll show you one more thing that I did here. I drilled this hole, 5/8 hole here, and actually tapped it with a 5/8 tap that I have. And the idea is I bought this, which is meant for microphones. So it's a flexible tube. And so what I'm going to do is put that in here. I got the connectors with it. There's a male on this end and a female on that end. And I'm going to put this in here. And then I'm going to feed it right into this part here. And what we're going to do is I'm going to mount a fan up at this top end here. It's got a 1/4 inch connector with this bolt on it. That's meant for cameras, but I'll build now a bracket for a fan that will go on to the end of this, and we should be good. Okay, it looks like I'm all done. Believe it or not, this was done with just a good vise and one of those plastic mallets you buy for just like $4. Not bad, huh? Of course, I drilled holes on my drill press. Make sure I got the right ones. And the whole idea is to mount a fan. And I want it to blow down onto the motherboard, so I want it to come out. Comes out from the label with the holders, blockers. So I mount this in here. If I got the holes right, it should just line up. Get that one started. Let me try this one, see if we can get that one started. You do metal work like this, you need a good vise. You need a good drill press. Definitely need a grinder that has both a grinding side, metal buffing side to it. But that's pretty good. And then this piece here, I was able to find a nut for this in my junk drawer. Is going to mount up underneath here. Put this up in here like this. I'll put a lock washer in there just so it holds it tight. I can lower this down. Take a pair of pliers and lock it in place. That. And then this piece goes right onto here. And voila, we have a nice fan that'll go onto my test bench. Okay, the next time you see the test bench and this bracket, everything will be painted. I'll paint it all black just so it matches most of the parts that I have. And I'll leave this, it's nice polished aluminum or chrome, I think that is. I'll leave that to chrome, and the end points too, but this bracket that I just made needs a paint job, so it'll be painted black along with the rest of the test bench. Here's the finished version of it. As you can see, I've got the power supply installed. I've got the movable fan installed that can be brought up and down as needed to cool off whatever part of the motherboard is needed. And I added these. I had bought these online. The left switch is the power switch. The one to the right of that is the reset switch. The green light is the power on light. And the red light is the hard drive light. So these wires can be wired directly too. Also notice that I have these special screws to connect up here where the cards install, and these screws also work to hold the motherboards down. Those same threads. Well everyone, that finally completes the test bench. Now I can go on and start building my server next. I hope everyone got something from this. If you did, please do me a favor and subscribe to my channel. Just click on the little head here. Simple. Thank you.